Hey everyone, it's Harrison here. The title of this video is a legitimate question I have. Have you guys heard about Scarygirl? It's an Australian animated film released in 2023, and from what I can tell, nobody seems to know it even exists. Hi, welcome to our new series. I'm basically just using this as an excuse to talk about niche animated content that I'm passionate about, or that I find interesting. So if you like this series, leave a like or comment below. Please. It's bleak down there. But yeah, Scarygirl is a film that exists. It's something that has kind of been in the back of my mind for a while now. Kinda just this looming thing over my shoulder. Like, this is a film that is important because it's Australian made, and it's also animated by Cosmic Dino, which is one of the only 3 big animation studios in Queensland. So, you know, it's a pretty big deal. Not to mention that Cosmic Dino is the animation studio currently developing the 3D animated Bluey movie. So, there's that. And yet, for some reason, as important as it always seemed for a small animation studio in the humble city of Brisbane, Australia, to make a DreamWorks/Pixar level production, they didn't really push for it in terms of marketing. Chantal and I lived in Brisbane City around the time this film came out, and there were no advertisements on buses or billboards screaming from the rooftops that, hey, Queensland made an animated movie, go support it. I mean, the only reason I knew of its existence was because Chantal and I have some friends that worked at the company. The whole thing is just kind of weird. There's also no Cosmic Dino logo at the front of the film, only distribution and production companies, which we thought was odd. But they made the whole movie, including storyboarding, modeling, and animating it. I don't know, I guess that's industry standard? Seems kind of backwards to me. Anyways, Chantal and I decided to finally check it out, and oh my god, this film is fine. It's a good movie, sort of. Okay, but for real, let's break it down. The best part about this film is easily the animation and art style. I mean, just looking at the poster alone, it looks great. The gothic aesthetic is really appealing. It reminds me of Coraline at first glance, but, you know, Australian. The whole film is quite beautiful, actually. You can tell they tried to achieve a sort of stop-motion aesthetic with the way the textures and lighting are done. They added subtle imperfections to some of the materials, like they were handcrafted out of clay. It's really nice to look at. The character designs are unique too, they're very stylized. Like, look at the main villain, why does his head look like that? It kinda reminds me of Psychonauts. You know how some of the kids in that game are just freaks of nature? It gives the world a unique aesthetic. It's embracing the weirdness of it all, which I like a lot. The world building itself is notable too. There's this great contrast between the bright, colourful environment of the island where the film starts and the dark, neon-lit dystopian city that they travel to. It's very cyberpunk and it's rich with personality. I kinda wish we saw more of it, to be honest. Okay, so visually it looks great, but what about the story? Well, before I dive into that, let me give you some context. So this film is originally based off a graphic novel series, written and illustrated by Nathan Juravicius, who helped produce the movie and had considerable creative input on it, which is typically a great sign when any adaptation is made, to know that the original creator will be at the helm of it. Now, I haven't read the comic series myself, so it's difficult to compare the movie in terms of its story, but looking at the panels, you can see the art style was faithful, so that's good news. There's also a video game too, on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, so if you'd rather play Scarygirl than watch or read it, you can do that, I guess. There really is a whole fan base behind this IP, which I was unaware of when I decided to watch the film. It's just one of those niche things where if you happen to be one of the few people who grew up with it, you're probably really passionate about it and try endlessly to recommend it to people who don't care because they have no emotional attachment to it. Kind of like me in this thing. Let me know if you want me to make a video on it, because I will, I can do that. But going back to the story of the movie, how is it? Well, the story is serviceable. It's fine. It's the kind of film that brings the family together for a good old time. It's pretty sanitized and inoffensive. It definitely feels like it's tailored towards children because of its toned down, immature dialogue and straightforward, predictable narrative, which is kind of odd because the film actually attempts to tackle some pretty heavy themes and ideas. You know, just the typical stuff like environmentalism, dystopian societies, animal cruelty, children getting sold on the black market. Wait, hold on. Who is the target audience for this film again? No, but legitimately, everything I just said is actually in this movie, which would be compelling for a family film to explore if done tactfully. But the issue is that it's all kind of just glossed over and not really explored in detail, which just feels like the film is dipping its toes in the water, but is too scared to actually get in. I mean, when the film started going down that darker route, I was initially excited. I thought, here we go, this really is the Australian Coraline. But I'm sad to say I was left disappointed. The reason why Coraline is such a cult classic is because it actually went far with what it intended. It had moments that scarred you, made you feel uneasy. It made you confront and overcome real fears, which made you feel like you were maturing alongside the main protagonist. That's what makes a coming-of-age film special. But this film is just kinda left in purgatory, teetering on the edge between a kid-friendly, entertaining comedy and a more emotionally driven, mature drama. The problem is that it doesn't commit to either, which in my opinion makes it still entertaining but ultimately forgettable. I hope the graphic novel is better, honestly, because the idea itself has a lot of potential. It has a really unique world that I would love to see explored further. From what I can tell too, the comic series doesn't feature any dialogue, it just conveys the narrative through visual cues, which is interesting. As I said, the dialogue was a big part of what let this film down tonally. The Australian accents were cool though. It's something you don't see often in animated films at this level. It made me feel like I was watching a Michael Cusack video.
Sucker in there.
I don't know. This film is good, in a lot of ways. I'm just disappointed the story wasn't super developed. And it doesn't seem like I'm the only one who feels this way. Essentially, this film is pretty good. Not amazing in my opinion, but pretty good. Definitely worth a watch if you're desperate for a family-friendly animated film that will take you on an escapist journey. It'll hold you over while you wait for Elio, or Shrek 5. Plus it's Australian, so you can feel good about supporting international animation. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know if you want me to make more videos like this. We're still experimenting with the content on this channel, so we're down to make anything really. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see me cover, comment below and I'll consider making a video on it. See you guys later.